This video will show you how the gradebook will work for this course. So the way you will access your gradebook, it's going to be a Google spreadsheet that is going to be shared with you. So it will be viewable only by you and by me. And so you could access it through your Bmail account, through your Drive. It will be shared there, but you can also access it through, it will be linked from Blackboard. And so how you will get to that is you'll go to My Grades. And when you go to My Grades, what you'll see is first there's this sample gradebook. And then below that, there isn't anything there now, but there will be, once the class starts and I set these up, there will be a link that will say like your name. So if your name is Linda, it'll be Linda's Gradebook. If there's two Lindas in the class, it'll say Linda Smith's Gradebook, whatever your last name is. That link, this is very important, that link will only be visible to you and me. So I will put permissions on the link so that you are the only one, you and I are the only ones who can see it. So when I will look at this view, there'll be the sample gradebook, and then there'll be like everybody in the class's gradebook. However, when each individual person looks at it, there will be only the sample gradebook and then their own gradebook. In addition, you will need, in order to be able to click on the link and open it, you will need to be logged into your Bmail account. So you'll need to be logged into Blackboard and then logged into Bmail to access it through Blackboard. If you just want to access it directly through your Bmail, you can do that too. Okay, so now what is the gradebook going to look like? Well, the sample gradebook will show you what it's going to look like. And this is one that has it all filled in. So first thing you'll notice is there are these codes. So M means you've achieved mastery of a learning objective, P is for progressing, and N is for novice. Core guided practice learning modules or timed assessments are marked with a star. So here we see we have guided practice 2.1, that's marked with a star. So that's a core guided practice. But if we go down further, guided practice 10.3 does not have a star. So that means that's not a core guided practice. Okay, so then, so first you'll have the number of tokens you have. So the first number will be the total number of tokens you've had throughout the whole semester. So you're going to start with 3. You might possibly have some ways to accumulate some more. Then it will let you know how many you've used, and I will tell you what you used it for. And then that'll tell you, then the next it'll tell you how many you have left. Okay. Attendance, so I will keep track of your attendance. So 1 means you were there, 0 means you weren't, E means it was an excused absence, NA, or no class, means that's a day that either we didn't have class or I'm not taking attendance on the NA days. And then I keep track of how many excused absences you've had and how many unexcused absences, so you can know. And then there'll be the concept checks and your grades for those. And it will total them all up and let you know. And then as you start to achieve the levels for a grade, initially it won't say anything, so it won't say sufficient for a grade of F when you start out, even though technically that's what it would be, because that feels sucky. So, once you start to get into the letter grades, like D or C, then I'm going to start doing that. And the beauty of this system is that once you've achieved sufficient for a grade of C, let's say, you can't go down from that. You can only go up. So once you've achieved sufficient for a grade of C, you're guaranteed that. Now you have to achieve sufficient for a grade of C on all the things in order to get the C. But you can sort of, you can count on your progress. It stays there. Okay, and then there's, guided practice. You have your level 1s, and then your level 2s, and it tells you exactly how many you need of each, how many you have of each. Learning modules. So it's a big grade book. Oh, and it goes way over because there's a lot of them. You know, learning modules, there's level 1 learning modules, there's like 50 some. And I know that sounds really daunting. But remember, each of these is going to be sort of very small, short, discrete assignments. So each assignment isn't going to take you that much time. I mean, again, some modules may take you more time, some modules may take you very little time. And then there's the timed assessments. And your natural argument projects. And then at the bottom, it sort of totals everything up. So you can kind of look at everything all together. You know, so how many core level 1 guided practice exercises have you mastered? How many non-core? How many total level 1 guided practice? Because that's all information you need in order to know where you stand in the class. And again, here I'll be filling this in as things sort of start to get up to some kind of grade. And if you go over, it tells you eventually what grade you achieve in the class. So that's how the gradebook works. And I'm using this instead of, well, in addition to the usual Blackboard gradebook, because this is sort of, I think, easier to kind of look at as a whole. You can really see where you're at and what you need to do, what you haven't done. It should be really easy to figure out what you need to do and where you're at. Also, the Blackboard gradebook won't keep track of stuff that you need to know, like attendance. You know, there's no way to do attendance really in there that I can think of. So this is how you're going to know how you're doing attendance-wise in the class. So I hope you find it useful.